Good afternoon, everyone. I'm truly honored to be here at the APTE Summit at Ohio State University. And today I'll be talking through about my journey as an entrepreneur, and I hope by at the end of the presentation, I'll entice a number of you to take a similar path and be a social entrepreneur. Okay, so who can be an entrepreneur? So it's anyone who wants to experience the deep, dark canyons of ambiguity, as well as uncertainty, and one who wants to walk through the breathtaking highlands of success. But I must caution you, do not plan to walk the latter until you've experienced the former. So I have been a social entrepreneur for the past 5 years, and it has been an exciting journey. Walt Disney once said that for you to pursue your dream, or for it to come true, you have to have the courage to pursue it. So I'll be talking about social entrepreneurship in Africa. So majority of the trade on the continent happens in the informal sector. So the creative industry is one of the largest employers in the developing world after agriculture. So usually the traders are characterized by a one-man band using their wits to eke out a living to earn the best way they can. So such ubiquitous scenes have become the most conspicuous scene of the African entrepreneur or doing business in Africa. So social entrepreneurship is a buzzword that is used in the international development and business arena. So the question is it the magic bullet to solving one of the world's severest economic and social problems? So social entrepreneurship in Africa has the potential of defying the odds, and social entrepreneurship has the potential to fuel a long-term sustainable development and growth in Africa. So about my entrepreneurship journey, I'll take you through the milestones that I think really defined who I am today. So it was a good reflective moment, to see, the journey that I've gone through, the past 5 years, and I hope I'll be able to inspire a number of you. So some of the key highlights will include, the love of technology when I was pretty young. Later on, I decided to study computer science in the University of Nairobi. And then also had a bit of exposure in the corporate world, which helped me in terms of defining processes and systems, and also being involved in a number of ICT for development projects at campus, and also I think also just talking about just going through the exchange program at Stanford, which involved a lot of design thinking. Founded Kamata Cab while I was in campus. Graduated and then founded Soko. So one of my words of wisdom are, entrepreneurship cannot be taught in a safe classroom. It must be developed experimentally. So as I said, from a very young age, I really liked tinkering, with gadgets and electronics, and I was also trying to fix things. So I think it was just second to nature when I decided to pursue computer science as one of the degrees that I wanted to study in university. So it's I wanted to be in a field that's dynamic, it's changing, it's evolving, and I wanted to just be be in a place where things are happening and they're current. So, I decided to study computer science at the University of Nairobi. I participated in a number of ICT for development projects, and I'll mention just two of some of the projects that I did. The first one was, creating an application that would, give residents in the informal community access to clean water within the slum area of Kibera. And the other project was creating a mobile application for the visually impaired. So we wanted to ensure that they were a part of the community that would take part in embracing their mobile technology. So the mobile application involves them being able to read, them being able to hear SMSs that they received, be able to text, use simple accounting tools such as the calculator, set their alarm, or even make phone calls. So in the next slide, I'll talk about one of the companies or just this application that I founded while I was in campus. So it's called Kamata Cab. Kamata Cab is a Swahili word which means catch a cab, and it's a tax hailing app. So how it was founded, what I decided to do when I was still in school was participate in a 48-hour hackathon. So I signed up, and I thought it was a great opportunity for me to test my leadership skills if I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So when I enrolled, and when I went to the event, realized we were 100 people participating, and out of 100 there were only 10 women. And the event organizers told us that we need to form into groups that comprised of a front-end developer, a back-end developer, a marketing person, a product leader, and someone who'd be also in charge of the social media. So since there were very few women in the competition, a number of people would reach out to me and tell me like, hey, can you be a marketing person? Because they felt that marketing was more of a female kind of job, and they didn't think I could take any other role, being a developer or a leader. So I was not really amused by that general assumption, and I decided to just scout a number of people who are open and willing to allow me to be the leader, and assist them to just win the prize. So I had an amazing team of 5 people, and I had to plan out what application would create. Just do a prototype, do market research, and also just do, a lot of social media promotion. So I was very keen on just, eye on the prize, and I remember a number of, groups or teams decided to go home and come back early in the morning to, continue the work. But one thing I told my team members is that I think we're gonna sleep here tonight, and we'll continue until you get the work done. So I remember it was, the entire night we were working on the application, and for me, every hour, every minute, every second really counted, and I wanted to take opportunity of that. So, at the end of the competition, we won the grand prize, and for me, that was a stepping stone to leadership in the entrepreneurship world. Mm-hmm. So, I remember once I graduated, the next day, I was setting up the office in Nairobi for the next startup that I was going to be work on. Probably I'll tell you a bit of why I did not continue with Kamata Cab. Kamata Cab I did not proceed with it because it was too early for its time. So, most people at that time were using a simple feature phone, and there's a very low penetration of the smartphone. So most people did not grasp the concept of how can you hail a cab, how will you trust the driver, how will they know the best route to use. And funny enough, if you go to Nairobi today, this taxi hailing cabs such as Uber or the local type of applications there are dominating the market and just changing the transport industry. So I must say, at least I was ahead of time, and I consider myself a visionary person. So at Soko, Soko is an ethical fast fashion company, and it's on a mission to revolutionize the international trade. And what we do is we link artisans in the emerging economy to take advantage of the economic opportunities available in terms of selling their products beyond just the African or domestic market. So the Soko collection is characterized by, it's beautiful, it's fashion, and it's fair trade. And these are usually 3 words that don't go together. So the artisan network that for the past 5 years we've been able to work with have been over 1,000. And these are artisans based in the informal communities in Kenya as well as in Ethiopia producing leather bags. And So another thing is, I'll tell you a bit of statistics of just technology adoption in Kenya and in Africa. So by 2025, they expect to be 50% internet penetration within Africa. That, in other words, means that online shopping will constitute 10% of retail sales. And that's, if you put that as a dollar value, that will constitute $75 billion just in the African context. Mobile penetration in Kenya is 70%. So I'd say there are 38.5 million mobile subscribers. And currently, most payments happen via mobile phone versus credit card. So for me, I can go a week with just my phone because I can use it to communicate, I can use it to make payments, and I will not worry at the end of the day if I have my phone for an entire week. So we leverage on technology, and that's why we leverage on the mobile technology due to the high rate of adoption. And sorry, just go back. And we're able to connect the makers to create a virtual factory. And with this virtual factory, you're able to decentralize production and have the artisans receive orders from huge clients such as Nordstrom or Fossil and produce it within the next 6 to 8 weeks, and it's delivered to your doorstep. So the next, I'll say, Soko's success is not a one-man show. I always contribute where we are today because of the team. I always say the greatest asset is your team, and you always need to ensure that they're happy. And also, it's very important for you to not be a boss, but a great leader. A leader, that coaches the employees, tries to refer to as we versus I, developing the people, giving credit. And I say in Africa, and there's an African saying that goes that, if you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to run far, run together. So this is one mantra that I've always used, that for you to succeed, it's a group effort, and you'll really, really go far. So it's important to take great care of them, do good by them, and support them as much as possible. So how do you measure impact? So for the past 5 years, I've been in charge of seeing the end-to-end operations and production and delivery of the product. So at Soko, we have been fortunate enough to work with over 450 international retailers, which include Nordstrom, Fossil, TJ Maxx, Anthropology, Eden, and also sell globally through the e-commerce platform. I'd also say that technology has been a huge factor that has helped us to grow at a very rapid speed compared to other companies in the same sector. So our impact involves being able to generate a revenue of $1 million in the artisan industry, as well as selling over 250,000 products around the world. So, Soko is pioneering ethical fast fashion and changing the fashion industry for good. And I'm, happy to just see the impact that we've been able to have, not only locally, but also internationally. So my words of wisdom would be, prepare to fail, but, fall forward. So, dream to live the dream, and strive to succeed. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So I don't know whether you guys have any questions. Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Troy. I totally believe in the failing forward concept. My question is, before you fail, we know that in developing our own businesses, that it takes that passion to move your dream or desire forward. What is it that tells you that what your passion is based in reality? That what you believe is something that can actually occur? And for you personally, What is it that told you, you know what, this is possible? This is possible. I can do this. What made it reality for you?
So I can give you a bit of context. When I decided to become an entrepreneur, especially in Kenya, it was at a time where entrepreneurship wasn't really being embraced, and people didn't understand, why don't you want to work for this big corporate? Why don't you want to work for Google, or why don't you want to work for one of these huge telcos? And for me, I remember I got an exposure to seeing some of the Stanford students, what they were doing. And they didn't really want to work for Facebook or Google. They wanted to have a change within, within the US. So for me, I felt that it was a great time to take the risk. I was young. If I fail, it's fine. At least I was able to test the waters and know the outcome. And I always believe that one thing that I classify as regret is not trying. I don't want to always leave with this question that what if I did this? What would have been the outcome? I'd rather try first and then know at the end of the day it didn't work out. I remember when I was doing Soko for the first 2-3 years, my parents did not, initially they did not understand what I was doing. Most of my friends were like, Kate is very determined, and that's one thing that people know me for. Like, you can't tell me no. If you tell me no, I'll try and prove you wrong. And I'll always try, I'm always changing the status quo. So I believe that, and all people may not back you initially. And you should not set your success of your business based on what people think. You first of all need to truly believe, do a market research. That's very key to at least to know that there's an adoption rate. As I mentioned, Kamata Cab was before its time, and I knew that, and I did not continue to pursue it. But when I was founding Soko and my other 2 co-founders, it was at the right time, and I took advantage of that. So I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Awesome. I think you guys have one more question. Any other questions out there? Yeah. So going forward, how do you want to take the business? What's your kind of vision?
I think Soko's dream is to just disrupt the traditional global supply chain. Currently, most of the artisans do not earn enough money, or there are middlemen who take majority of the earnings. So ideally is pioneering ethical fast fashion, disrupting the traditional supply chain, ensuring that the artisans earn more and the consumer pay less. So that's generally the Soko mission, and ensuring that has a global impact. So currently, compared to the past 5 years, most of the retail brands would have like 2 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and fall. So right now, just due to the millennials who want to have things that are always new and changing, you have like a lot of large brands having more than just 2 cycles in a year. So they'll have 2 cycles and a number of capsules. So you'll see companies like Zara always churning out new designs every so often. So unfortunately, there are a number of companies that have the artisan workshops as a sweatshop. And what we're trying to say is you can still be able to produce products within 6 to 8 weeks. However, you need to ensure that they're produced ethically, and you need to ensure that the artisan is also one of the people who gain through the value chain.
Awesome.